I was having an honest conversation with one of my clients the other day, talking about how, as parents, there's often nothing more appealing than a child who listens the first time, follows directions without argument, and never pushes back. Sounds like a dream as a toddler parent, right? But the truth is that we often feel pressure to raise our kids in such a way because society celebrates these good kids and often makes parents feel like failures when their children question authority or push boundaries. Now, lots of parents would say they would love their children to listen better, and there's nothing wrong with that. And we're going to talk about how to encourage that later in the video. But the focus on compliance or obedience is often misguided. In fact, many parents would agree that when asked what kind of character traits they want their grown-up children to have, many would say things like, I want my child to be an independent and critical thinker. I want my child to stand up for themselves and others. And I want my child to be able to handle whatever obstacles come their way. First, let's clarify the difference between compliance and cooperation, because there is a difference. Compliance is about obedience without question, doing something because you're told to, often motivated by fear of consequences or punishment. Cooperation, on the other hand, comes from understanding, trust, and willing participation. When we look at brain development, this distinction matters tremendously. A child's brain is literally being wired during these early years. When children are constantly made to comply through fear, their stress response system gets activated repeatedly. This affects how the brain develops and can impact everything from emotional regulation to decision-making skills and even the ability to learn. Think about it this way. When your child immediately stops what they're doing because they're afraid of what you'll do if they don't, that's compliance. When they help clean up because they understand it's part of the family responsibility and they feel good contributing, that's cooperation. So why is focusing solely on compliance problematic? When children are taught that their primary goal should be following directions without question, several concerning things can crop up. First, their critical thinking skills can be stunted. Children who are told repeatedly, because I said so, learn to stop asking questions and stop thinking for themselves. Second, they become more vulnerable to peer pressure. If they're conditioned to comply with authority without question, they're more likely to follow peers making dangerous choices simply because the social pressure feels like an authority they should follow. Now, this can show up for younger children, but this will usually become evident when they reach the teenage years. Third, they often struggle with setting their own boundaries. Children who learn their feelings and thoughts don't matter when an authority figure is involved may have trouble recognizing when their boundaries are being crossed in relationships. Fourth, they don't develop internal motivation. Instead of doing the right thing because they understand why it matters, they rely on external validation and direction, which won't always be available to them. This doesn't mean we want defiant children who never listen. It means we want children who can think critically, communicate respectfully, and make good choices even when we're not looking over their shoulder. Instead of compliance, we want to foster healthy autonomy and internal motivation. We want children who can think critically about situations and make thoughtful decisions, understand the reasons behind rules and expectations, can regulate their emotions and express them appropriately, feel confident setting and respecting boundaries, and who cooperate because they understand the value, not because they fear punishment. These skills are essential for success in school, relationships, and eventually the workplace. They're the foundation of emotional intelligence that research consistently shows is more predictive of life success than academic achievement alone. Now, before we jump into strategies, I want to let you know that if you're resonating with this message but feeling overwhelmed about how to make this shift in your parenting, then check out the Life with Littles Lounge. This is my membership community created specifically for parents of toddlers and preschoolers who want to parent in a way that feels good to them and their kids. And starting at only $7 a month, this is one investment that won't break the bank, but will have lasting value in your life. Click the link in the description to learn more and come join us. Now, let's get back to some practical strategies that you can start implementing today. So how do we make this shift from demanding compliance to inviting cooperation? Here are 5 practical strategies. First, offer choices within boundaries. Instead of, put your shoes on now, try, it's time for shoes. Would you like to wear the blue ones or the red ones? This gives your child a sense of autonomy while still moving toward your goal. Bonus points if you can add some silliness or play in there. Second, explain the why behind rules, even to young children. When they understand the reason, they're more likely to cooperate willingly and remember the expectation next time. But with young kids, keep this short and make sure it's in a time of calm. It doesn't have to be in the moment. Sometimes I'll bring this up later to my kids and say, hey, remember when you were upset and you didn't want to stop playing to go to school? I know that was tough. Sometimes we have to stop doing things we enjoy to be places on time so that we're respectful to everyone involved. Third, acknowledge and validate feelings, even when holding firm on a boundary. I can see you're really disappointed we can't stay at the park longer. It's so hard to leave when you're having fun, but we need to go have dinner now. And here you can add in something they could look forward to ease the transition. So I might say, would you like to play Play-Doh when we get home? Or would you like to check the weather when you get in the car seat so that we could see what day we can maybe come back to the park? Fourth, focus on teaching rather than punishing. When your child makes a mistake, view it as an opportunity to help them learn rather than a behavior that needs to be corrected through punishment. If you'd like to know more about consequences and what differentiates them from punishments, then check the link in the description box. Finally, celebrate healthy questioning and critical thinking. It can be really annoying and sometimes triggering when our child enters the why stage, always questioning everything we're asking or telling them. But this is actually something to be celebrated and a huge sign of brain development. So try and see it that way rather than as being disrespectful or annoying. Shifting away from demanding compliance isn't easy. It requires more patience, more explanation, and more thoughtful responses in the moment. But the long-term benefits are immense. And it becomes much easier the more you practice it. By focusing on raising children who can think independently, communicate effectively, and cooperate willingly, we're not just making our family life easier now, we're preparing them to be healthy, confident adults who can navigate complex situations with integrity. Remember, our goal isn't to raise good kids who blindly follow directions. Our goal is to raise whole humans who can think critically, act compassionately, and stand confidently in their own values. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Drop a comment below sharing one way you're trying to shift from compliance to cooperation in your home. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up before you go, share it with another toddler parent who would find it helpful, and subscribe for more tips to help you love your life with littles. Thanks for watching, and remember, you've got this. I'll see you next time.